Hello there, and welcome to episode 35 of Kolonization Project. We start today's episode off by launching back to the moon. Yes, we are going back to the Mun. I said moon before. We're going back to the Mun. We're launching this new mission atop a Leviathan booster. I did sort of do like a cinematic shot because, I just kind of like those. They look really cool, and yeah. So we're launching a mission to the Mun. We probably don't need this much raw power of the Leviathan booster, but if we're going back to the Mun, we might as well do it in style. So this is going to be how we're going to get a lot of our science now, because we've pretty much harvested all we can from Minmus, and for other planets, we have to wait for transfer windows, and I can't be bothered to wait. So here we are launching missions to the Mun, because we haven't been there since episode 4, with kerbals, at least. Actually, I don't even think we've been back to the Mun with an unmanned probe. We haven't landed on the Mun since episode 4. That's kind of embarrassing for our space program, because it's like the closest celestial body to Kerbin. So yeah, we're going back to the Mun, and this is going to be like our program that's going to do that. Like, it's not just going to be like a one-off thing. I want to launch a couple of these, and then we might launch like a biome hopper or something that visits all the rest. So that's basically the plan for these missions. The Leviathan booster once again does not have grid fins or RCS thrusters, and I think I know why. Because when I drop that thing into the water, I think the water destroys the grid fins, because I put them on. Like, I specifically noted to myself that I put the grid fins on this booster, but as you can see right there, there are no grid fins on this booster. It looks kind of weird, and I don't like it as much, but oh well. You can also see there the it didn't explode for some reason. That was quite the impactful touchdown. I'm not sure. It's not the right word to use, is it? We landed way too fast, is what I'm trying to say. So I guess the landing legs just have like some sort of magic hydraulical fluid in them that makes them be able to land an entire booster traveling at 50 meters per second. You did see there it didn't have cheats on, so that couldn't have been it. So I guess the landing legs are just magic. Anyways, we have arrived at the Mun. Pretty standard quick transfer, because as you may know, the Mun is not an inclined orbit, so we do not have to do any mid-course corrections. I actually think we did a small mid-course correction, but oh well. And here you can see the lander and the service module. Service module is kind of a weird combination of the Orion and Apollo capsules. You can see it does have like those Apollo-esque antennas, and also has that short little service module. However, it does have solar panels, and it's also a Dragon capsule because it lands propulsively. So yeah, like all rockets in this series, it's kind of a cursed combination of real-life rockets. But you can also see the lander right there. Looks sort of like the Minmus orbital outpost lander. It's a good lander design. I like it. So we can use it. However, it is two-stage, because we're not like going to a station or anything. Just pretend we don't have the Lunar Gateway, because I honestly forgot it exists too. So the lander can carry all 3 crew members onto the surface, which is good, because the last Mun lander we built could only carry 1 crew member down to the surface, and the service module could only carry 2. So now we have everyone on board, and we can do lots more science and more things, I guess. You can also see we do have a rover on board. It took me probably way too long to design a rover that was really compact and could fold down into a compact shape. But in the end, I think the result turned out quite nice. It reminds me a lot of the Apollo rovers, because I think they Also like used fold out trusses, because really you can't fit a rover inside of a fairing that well, so you have to like compress it and pack it down, and the rover ends up really small and light. But this rover, it will be able to carry all 3 crew members, and you can sort of see it hanging off right there. And anyways, we are landing back on the Mun for the first time in quite some time. You may be wondering why we do need the science, and well, we need the science for 2 tech nodes: colonization and what was it? There are 2 colonization tech nodes we need to unlock. One of them unlocks a lot of MKS stuff, and a lot of them unlocks a lot of the MKS Wolf stuff. Now we need when I'm colonizing future planets and making Apollo base self-sufficient, I don't want to do it with MKS alone. I want to do it with MKS Wolf, because that means I would need less parts, less lag, and overall it will be a better experience for me around Apollo base. It's also a lot easier to learn. Well, I'm not sure if it's easier to learn. It's easier to use than MKS because it's quite a bit simpler. But I'm not sure why many people don't use it, because it's really efficient. I've started to sort of like learn it myself, and it's probably better than MKS alone. MKS and MKS Wolf are the same thing, same mod, but the Wolf parts are sort of like later down the tech tree, which is why we're beelining for those right now. I normally don't sort of like rush for tech nodes, but this one is going to be an exception because I really want those tech nodes now. And you know, I've been decent about it the whole series, but you know, colonization must come first. Anyways, we just got the rover out. You can see it does unfold quite nicely after being detached from the lander. It will remain on the lunar surface for all of eternity until I delete it, because, you know, we got to keep that frame rate down. No, we got to keep that frame rate up. We don't want the frame rate to go down. We want it to go up. So yeah, I might destroy it later on, but I'm also too lazy to just delete every vessel we're not using. Because, you know, this won't become a historical landmark or anything. It's not the first time we've landed on the Mun. It's the second time. Nobody really cares about the second time. But yeah, that's what we're doing right now. We are just driving around on the surface, seeing if we can get a nice view of Kerbin, like, for, like, the thumbnail or something, maybe. But, you know, I thought it might be nice to see Kerbin from the Mun, because if you remember the first time we landed here, that didn't happen. We landed too far on the far side, and when we landed here, it was like on a hillside, so we still couldn't see it. Also, you can see right here the rover landed on the kerbals' heads, which probably wasn't good for the kerbals, but it also sent the rover flying up into the air and to its eventual demise right on the surface. Not sure why it exploded in such a fantastic fashion. Maybe we had some like explosive fuel on the rover, who knows. But it was really just truss structures and wheels and a solar panel. So I'm not sure why it exploded that. I'm not sure why it exploded at all. I'm not sure why it didn't just get crushed. But oh well, it's not my problem. That's something with Kerbal Space Program, I guess. Anyways, we after that, the crew members decide they've had enough of space and they want to go back to the lander. However, we will be denying their request to go home, as they still have more fuel in the lander. And more fuel means more biome hopping, and more biome hopping means more science, which is good. So, you know, we'll just send them to another biome. We can also plant another flag because we can see Kerbin, and you know, the rover blew up. So we get who is this, Bob Kerman, back to the lander, and we can go hop to another biome. We also land quite close to the location where we first landed on the Mun. That's because that was the first area in sunlight. I don't want to land in the night, and I also want to see Kerbin. For some reason, every time I try to land on the Mun, it's always during a time where like the night side is, like the far side is on the sunny side, and vice versa. I can never land like in the middle because of like bad timing and stuff. Anyways, we are now heading to another biome, going further. What direction is this? East? I think that's east. Is it? No, we're heading west. So yeah, we're heading west to another biome. We can get some nice shots of the craft accelerating towards Kerbin, even though it's not really accelerating towards Kerbin. I mean, it is, but that's also not what it's supposed to be doing. I mean, it is what it's supposed to be doing, but it's not like the primary goal of it. And I thought right here, this crater was a nice place to land, but with just my luck, we can't see Kerbin with the lander. I'm pretty sure the crews are mildly disappointed about that. I mean, we can sort of see it a little bit over the mountaintop, but yeah, you can't really see it, can you? Anyways, we can perform some more science. I think we get a kerbal out to plant a flag. Yes, we do. And we can, take a surface sample, EVA report, plant a flag, because, yeah, I mean, why do we plant flags on, like, the Mun Minmus? I mean, I think it's just something you have to do in Kerbal Space Program. Like, you've been there, you plant a flag, you say it's yours, and you head back up. I think I'm running out of ideas to talk about because, not right now, because as you can see, we are flying back up into space. I mean, we were already in space, we're just flying to more space. But anyways, we're flying back up to the, the service module, and we will rendezvous with it, dock with it, head back home, and profit with the remaining science. If you look right there, you can actually see, actually you can't see it because it's outside loading range, but we flew right over the first landing site, which is kind of cool, It's our second landing site, and we flew right past over the first. Anyways, we are once again getting into orbit. Once again, this is like the second time we've done a Mun orbit from the Mun in this series, which we need to go to the Mun more often, but since we have so many things to do around Minmus, we don't really go to the Mun anymore. And, there's really no point in going to the Mun. However, once we get Apollo base up and self-sufficient on everything, we can use Minmus base. You see, we use Minmus base we use Apollo base to build components for an orbital construction dock. Actually, let me rephrase that. So we launch an orbital construction dock from Kerbin. I'm not sure I'm going to do this yet, but it's going to go one of two ways. I'll explain the first one here. So we send up an orbital construction dock, a very small one, however. So we send that up, and then we send... So we use... I'm trying to explain this as best as I can. So we send up a small orbital construction dock, right? So then we use that orbital construction dock to build a much larger orbital construction dock. Then we use that orbital construction dock to build components for the lunar colony. Then I don't know what we do from there. I guess the lunar colony will just be like a, tourism base. We use it for kerbals, having kerbals on other planets, because like there's not really much we can do on Mun that we can't do on Minmus, is there? Anyways, you can see right there, we're spinning up the craft to deorbit the lander. That didn't work though, we just changed its orbit because I released it at the wrong time. Anyways, back to that second option that I was discussing. So this one's going to take a lot more time, which I don't think I would do it then. So once we get material kit and specialized parts production up and running on Apollo base, and we use Apollo base to build the we use Apollo base to build the giant orbital construction dock, and then we use that. So we use that orbital construction dock, send it down to the Mun, then we use that to build the components for the lunar colony. I think it's an overcomplicated plan, but it will work. It's gonna work, hopefully, that is. I do have all of the things designed for it. I just need to launch them, you know. That's gonna take some time. But hopefully I will. I mean, I'm not sure how else we're going to do that. We are not launching every single module for the lunar colony from Kerbin. That is not going to work. I mean, it very well could work, it just won't work the best, and it will cost us tons of money. The giant orbital construction dock will also cost us a lot of money if we launch it from Kerbin, however. Because the thing costs like 5 to 6 million funds, not including an engine. And we're going to need like a torch ship engine to power that thing. Because it's like 196 parts. Weighs over 3,000 tons. I forget how long it is, but it is a long boy. That orbital construction dock that we're going to be building, it's going to build the interstellar spacecraft that's going to carry us to another star. That's how big it is. You can also see there we just landed, and we can unlock Kolonization, which gives us a bunch of new parts and stuff. Kind of boring. Actually, no, it's not boring. It gives us like giant agricultural domes and habitation domes, stuff we can use for massive colonies off-world. But those are just dreams for now. Anyways, right now we are launching the first module of the Wolf Minmus station on this absolute abomination of a rocket. It's 3 solid rocket boosters strapped together on the first stage, and then this very poorly engineered second stage that's just a fuel tank and an engine. So yeah, it's cheap. It's cheap design, which means we don't have to reuse any of it. And I mean, the thing only weighs 9 tons on top. We have more than enough fuel to conduct this operation. Anyways, this will be a depot for Minmus, the Minmus Great Plains. No, they're called Great Flats. Are they? No, they're the Greater Flats. So, if you don't know how, I'm going to give a brief summary of how MKS Wolf works. So, you need these depot modules in order to be able to like transfer resources between, and these are basically like the home port of the system. If you get what I'm saying. If I don't, I'm going to make a video tutorial on it soon. Hopefully very soon. So that's what we're launching right here. It's quite a light module, which means we don't really need that much fuel. But anyways, we're just launching this to Minmus, and we'll do something with it later. I don't know. Anyways, what was I talking about before this? I think I was talking about yeah, the giant orbital construction dock thing. So yeah, it's not just going to be a space station, it's going to be an interplanetary ship. So it can move around because we're going to need it in many different places. So I want it to construct a lunar colony, so we're going to need to ship it from Minmus to the Mun, or from Kerbin to the Mun. Initially, though, we might just leave it in the orbits of wherever we build it. Because I'm going to be honest, moving that with our current technology is going to be a pain. It's also going to be very expensive. We're going to need it around Eve to construct the Eve colony. We're going to need to spin up Gilly. That's right, you heard me right. We are going to spin up Gilly so that it has more gravity. Because right now, Gilly doesn't have any gravity whatsoever. It's basically just an asteroid. So we're going to spin it up, which seems like a crazy idea, but I'm going to do like some trickery with like configuration editing. I'm not actually going to spin it up, but we will need it to like construct the engines to spin it up. That's for like, that's sort of, we don't need to do that because I can just edit the file, but I do want it to be like plausible. So we're going to spin up Gilly to like, so that things fall up. And then we spin it up so fast that things fall up at a decent G. And so if you've ever seen The Expanse, watched or read The Expanse, and Ceres and like Eero Station is sort of like what I'm talking about here. So we like spin it up and, you know, spin it up and we have gravity. We have more gravity. Kerbals can live there. It's going to be easier to construct bases because we don't have to worry about things flying around. It's going to be easier to launch things from there because we don't need to have any engines on it. We just go full Australian space program and just let it fly off into space. It's going to be great. We're also going to need it around Duna. Maybe, although we could just construct giant, massive interplanetary vessels that carry colony supplies and stuff all the way to Duna. Or we could do that around Eve too, but that's kind of boring. Anyways, that orbital construction dock is going to be a huge part in the colonization efforts. Anyways, I should probably talk about the video at hand here. Yeah, so I didn't talk about any of that. So we needed to send a kerbal to the depot in order to remove a thing from it, because apparently you can't have the depot and other wolf modules at once. So we just disassembled a few parts over there. We sent the kerbal back, we established a depot, and things are exploding on Apollo base because we don't have enough radiators. So instead of shipping up a tiny little module that contains radiators, we can just build it on site. That's so cool that we don't need to send up tiny little modules anymore. We can just build these things on Apollo base when we need them. We don't have to deal with things like travel time, or, I mean, we do have to build it. But anyways, that's so cool. We can build things on Minmus, although it's not very self-sufficient as we only have a limited amount of material kits and specialized parts. But that will be fixed very soon once we unlock the wolf parts, because I'm not doing the material kit and specialized parts production with MKS. I want Apollo base to not expand any further. The frame rate is bad. It's really bad. I don't want it to get any worse. So anyways, we can place radiators down on Apollo base. We can get the kerbal back inside, and that will be the end of this episode. So thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video.